Stephanie White just made a bold statement that has sent shockwaves through the basketball world. She wants Caitlin Clark to play off the ball more, and fans are struggling to wrap their heads around it. The idea of moving Clark out of her primary ball handling role is as shocking as asking LeBron James to stand in the corner and wait for passes. Clark has been the centerpiece of the Fever's offense, leading the team in assists and making plays all over the court. But White has a different vision, and she is not backing down from it. She believes this adjustment could be a game changer for the Indiana Fever, even though fans are already reacting strongly to the news. Some believe she is a genius with a master plan, while others think she is making a career-defining mistake that could backfire. Stephanie White recently gave an interview where she discussed this major shift in strategy, and it has sparked intense debate among analysts and fans alike. During her appearance on a podcast, she elaborated on the areas of improvement the team is focusing on with Clark. It may seem surprising at first, because Clark was nothing short of sensational as a rookie. She was a dynamic playmaker, led the league in assists, and was the heart of the team's offensive system. However, White believes that Clark's high usage rate is actually part of the problem. By having the ball in her hands so much, Clark is wearing herself out over the course of a game. White emphasized that moving Clark off the ball more will help conserve her energy and make her more effective. She also highlighted the importance of challenging Clark defensively, ensuring that opponents cannot exploit her by constantly making her defend tough matchups. The concern White has is that Clark has been running herself ragged trying to do everything on the court. Her role as the primary ball handler forces her to fight through defensive pressure, bring the ball up the floor, and create offense for herself and her teammates. White sees an opportunity to reduce that burden and allow Clark to play in a way that maximizes her efficiency. By taking the ball out of her hands more often, White believes Clark can focus on finding better scoring opportunities rather than expending all her energy orchestrating the offense. While some might see this as a radical change, White is confident that it will make Clark a better and more effective player in the long run. White's approach is not without precedent. The strategy of moving a star player off the ball has been used successfully in the NBA, particularly with players like Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. These players thrive in systems that emphasize movement, screens, and spacing. White wants to implement a similar system, but the question remains, will it work in the WNBA? The Fever tried something similar last season when they ran an offense that prioritized Kelsey Mitchell as the primary ball handler, while Clark played more of a spot-up shooter role. The result was a disaster, as Clark looked uncomfortable and the Fever struggled to find success. When the coaching staff eventually gave Clark the ball again and let her run the offense, the team started to win. This history makes fans skeptical about whether White's strategy will yield different results this time around. Clark's turnover numbers have also been a major talking point in this discussion. Some critics argue that reducing her ball handling responsibilities will help cut down on turnovers. However, turnovers are not always a simple statistic. There is context behind each turnover, and not all of them are equally costly. A turnover while attempting a risky but potentially rewarding pass is different from a live ball turnover that leads to an easy fast break score for the opponent. While Clark's turnovers were high, that was partly because she had the ball in her hands more than almost anyone else in the league. By the end of the season, her live ball turnovers had decreased significantly. White's plan aims to reduce Clark's overall fatigue, which could naturally lead to fewer mistakes and better decision-making throughout the course of a game. White's strategy also raises the question of how this change will impact Clark's overall effectiveness. Clark is known for her playmaking ability, and taking the ball out of her hands too much could limit what makes her special. Her ability to see the floor, make quick decisions, and deliver pinpoint passes is what makes her one of the most exciting players in the league. If she is asked to play off the ball too often, it could take away from her natural strengths. At the same time, White believes that this adjustment could actually make Clark an even more dangerous offensive player. By coming off screens and getting open looks rather than creating every shot herself, Clark could become a more efficient scorer and force defenses to adjust in new ways.